The aircraft on this list don't just break your sense of scale, they break the mental category you put airplanes in. By the time you reach the last one, the plane you flew on last summer is going to feel like a carry-on bag with wings. 385 feet. That's the wingspan of the Stratolaunch ROC, wider than an American football field from end zone to end zone with room to spare. From a distance, it looks like two aircraft fused at the wing, because that's exactly what it is. Twin fuselages, 6 engines, 28 wheels, and a center section wide enough to suspend a hypersonic vehicle the size of a fighter jet underneath it. On the ground, it looks industrial, almost ungainly. In the air, it becomes something else entirely, a flying launch platform that carries hypersonic test vehicles to 35,000 feet and drops them into powered flight above the Mojave Desert. The man who funded it, Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the project and died 6 months before it ever left the ground. His team flew it anyway. It has now completed over 20 flights. It is so wide that you have to roll it out of its hangar just to see the whole airplane at once. In 1942, German submarines were sinking Allied cargo ships in the Atlantic at a rate that threatened to decide the war. The solution Howard Hughes proposed was an aircraft so large it could carry 750 fully equipped troops across the ocean without touching the water at all. Built entirely from laminated birchwood because the government had locked down aluminium and steel for the war effort, it took 5 years, nearly bankrupted the project twice, and attracted a Senate investigation that accused Hughes of wasting public funds. On August 6, 1947, Hughes told the committee, "I put the sweat of my life into this thing. If it fails, I'll probably leave this country and never come back." 3 months later, during what was announced as a routine taxi test on Long Beach Harbor with 36 people aboard and most journalists already gone to file their stories, Hughes pushed the throttle, pulled back on the yoke, and flew 26 seconds, 25 feet above the water. It never flew again. Hughes kept a crew of 300 people, maintaining it in a climate-controlled hangar at a cost of $1 million per year, until he died in 1976. The Soviet Union needed to move a space shuttle from its assembly facility to its launch site, so they built one. The AN-225 Maria Dream in Ukrainian had a maximum takeoff weight of 640 tons, 6 engines, 32 wheels, and a cargo deck large enough to carry diesel locomotives. One is the second airframe partially built since the Soviet era, sits unfinished somewhere in Ukraine right now. The AN-225 had a full crew, enough fuel to reach Germany, and an open runway. Director General that morning, do you give the order? The AN-124 was built to land on compacted snow, frozen swampland, and dirt strips in conflict zones where no strategic airlifter had any business operating. That constraint produced something unexpected. The entire nose hinges upward while the rear ramp lowers simultaneously, letting vehicles drive straight through the aircraft from front to back. The cargo floor is titanium. The landing gear kneels to meet standard truck bed height. The U.S. Army, which operates the C-5 Galaxy, still contracted an N-124S for cargo that didn't fit anywhere else. After February 2022, 4 Russian-operated N-124s were stranded, 1 in Canada, 3 in Germany. Grounded by sanctions accruing parking fees at foreign airports, while a war their operators started continues with no end date. The cargo hold of the C-5 is 1 foot longer than the entire distance of the first powered flight in history at Kitty Hawk. Inside that hold, 2 M1 Abrams tanks or 6 Apache helicopters, or the complete fuselage of a disassembled C-130. The air crews call it FRED, Ridiculous Economic Environmental Disaster, because it carries the highest operating cost of any weapon system in the U.S. Air Force inventory. When Boeing lost the military contract to Lockheed in 1965, They took the raised cockpit concept they developed for the competition and turned it into the 747. Lockheed won the contract and nearly went bankrupt building it. There are 52 C-5M still in service. The Air Force plans to fly them until 2040. No replacement exists. The most expensive aircraft to operate in the American fleet cannot be retired because nothing else does what it does. The Lockheed C-5M Super Galaxy is one of the largest and most powerful military transport aircraft ever built. Designed to carry massive amounts of cargo across the globe, it can transport tanks, helicopters, armored vehicles, and oversized equipment that most aircraft cannot handle. With its enormous cargo bay, the C-5M can carry up to 127 tons of cargo and has a unique design featuring a nose that opens upward and a rear ramp, allowing vehicles to drive straight through the aircraft. Powered by 4 modernized GE F138 engines, the C-5M offers improved performance, range, and efficiency compared to earlier versions. Despite being introduced decades ago, it remains a critical part of the United States Air Force, proving that a well-designed aircraft can continue serving for generations. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to support us with a like and subscribe.